a woman can lose her child, and I've never experienced that. I'm sure that I couldn't imagine what that feels like. Siblings lose siblings, children lose fathers, mothers, aunties, uncles, cousins, grandmothers. But biblically, there's only one title that God has ever given out for someone who's lost someone, which is a widow. Yeah, it's been an awakening journey, and all of it, I can only give credit to the Most High for the fact that I'm even sitting here. Even, like I said, dealing with men, like...
I know men has been the men that don't even know your situation, they probably been trying to approach you. And
some that do.
Really?
Some that did. Yeah. It was kind of like, new fish in the pond. No way. I've done blocked, had to have my number removed from like...
What?
Yeah. Like, I didn't, and my dad is so funny during the time. I'm like, I'm not thinking about that. My dad was like, you watch. In the back of my mind, it's always beware of the wolves. Because it's a very vulnerable place, being a woman and a widow with three. But my big one, he lives in Duncanville. But it's a very vulnerable place. And men be like, oh. And they don't understand. I'm different than a regular baby mama or somebody like that. Like, my kids had a dad. I'm not a woman who's single and by myself because my children never had their father. Like, no.
Yeah.
I don't need a dad. And it's been hard too with my son. They always try to be friends with my son. Like, please don't talk to my kid. Don't talk to him. Oh, hey, little buddy. Like,
niggas ain't shit.
Like, come on. Don't be friends with my kid. That's interesting. It's just been interesting.
You know what I can say, Portia? Like, I could, from the outside and just hearing you speak now, I could tell like you have matured and grown like so much.
From fighting you at the Laugh Factory?
Yes, like you have grown so much in the most positive and like grown women way. You know what I mean? Like I don't even know, like, I don't even know if I would be able to deal with, like, I would probably just shut down. Like if this happened in me, I would just shut down. And for you to be able to speak, I commend you for being just so brave. You know what I mean? Like, cause my mom's dad, her passed when I was probably like 1 or 2 years old. So I didn't get to meet him or anything, or I don't remember meeting him. But to this day, that still like affects her in certain different ways. You know what I mean? And it's just like, death is a weird, crazy thing to even wrap your mind around, to even come to grips with. Like, it is, it's weird.
It's, and you have to think, so biblically, right? Like, a woman can lose her child, and I've never experienced that. I'm sure that I couldn't imagine what that feels like. Siblings lose siblings, children lose fathers, mothers, aunties, uncles, cousins, grandmothers. But biblically, there's only one title that God has ever given out for someone who's lost someone, which is a widower. Because it's such a, your life is intertwined with that person, right? There are many people who loved Aslan. His siblings, they love him. You know, even now, they're grieving in their own way. And aspects of your life are affected because that's your brother or your whatever, your cousin, they're grieving. But you have to think, right? A spouse, he would get off work, he come home to us. We're cooking dinner, all the little things I knew that maybe somebody else never, ever would have saw. You know, cooking or how he did this or that. Our life was together. other people can leave. A lot of people are reminded when I'm in the room, oh, he's not here with her. I don't get to be not be reminded. It is something that I live every day, all day long. I'll never not be a widow. Like you think, like, why did God give that? That's the only title.
That is interesting now that you mentioned that.
There's no title for a mother who loses a child. There's no title. Only a widow, because that union with your spouse is supposed to be. So it's much deeper than any other relationship. Any other relationship, mother, child, like you guys are one.
And there's no word for if the wife passes and the man.
Well, no, he's considered a widower.
Really?
Widower. A male is a widower. Because they have men. Sometimes I've been like, oh my gosh, what if it was reversed? I couldn't imagine how many women would be throwing it at him. Oh my, every widow or widower I've talked to, it is that, like,
really?
The men at your spouse's funeral passing phone number, like, people are crazy. They're like, I'm not thinking about.
Yeah. Yeah.